The Pac-12 conference is in trouble and they need a Texas-sized infusion of energy. Can any of the G6 schools be the answer? Today, I'm putting them through the ringer with my 5-point matrix: TV ratings, football history, basketball history, social media presence, and those hefty exit fees. Buckle up because we're about to crown the ultimate Pac-12 expansion target, Texas style. I'm your professor, the Wild Ute, and let's get into it, folks. We're looking at 6 FBS schools from the state of Texas. That will be North Texas, Texas State, UTEP, UTSA, Rice, and Sam Houston. Those 6 schools we're going to run through the realignment model, the matrix model. Here's the methodology. As you can see on your screen, there's 5 different points: football viewership, football history, basketball history, social media brand, a new concept, and estimated exit fees, a new concept. Some new stuff on this episode. Football viewership is the most important driver in the Pac-12 realignment model, has a massive 40% weight, while the rest of the criteria, 15% each. Let's get into it. Football viewership from 2022 to 2024. That's 3 years, folks. We're looking at the average per week viewership based on a Nielsen rated game. A Nielsen rated game is a game that's on a channel that records a Nielsen rating, such as ESPN, ESPN2, FS1, Fox, ABC, etc. If a team that you're looking at here was not on a Nielsen rated game, they get a big fat zero, because not many people are watching it, and Nielsen didn't even record a simple rating for that game because of the low viewership, completely omitted from the analysis. These are the absolute numbers per Sports Media Watch. So let's take a look at them. UTSA shakes out number 1 and the most important metric in the model here, with 165,000 viewers per game for the last 3 years. All right, every week, UTSA has been averaging 165,000 viewers. Not bad, not bad. Rice second, 123. UTEP, 117. With Texas State, the prime Pac-12 candidate that a lot of folks are talking about, the Texas State Bobcats, with 54,000 Nielsen-rated viewers per week for the last 3 seasons. Not great. They haven't been on TV a ton as far as ESPN, ESPN2, and Nielsen-rated channels, but still pretty eye-opening. With North Texas and Sam Houston State rounding out the bottom here at 51 and 39,000 viewers per week, respectively. So there it is, folks. This is what it looks like for Texas-based FBS schools, the G6 schools looking at getting into the Pac-12. UTSA number 1 on the list. Important measure right there. All right, moving on here. Football history. What is this? Football history, 15% weight in the model. Okay, folks. Winsipedia. If you haven't been to that website, go freaking check it out. It's amazing. It gives something that's known as the blue blood rank. It ranks every FBS team in the nation, and it values criteria such as all-time wins, bowl wins, Heisman's, number 1 rankings, and about 20 other metrics. And then it jumbles all that information together and makes a stack ranking score from 1 to 130s for all the FBS schools. And the average rank is what we're looking at here, the Winsipedia average rank for their football history of these 6 Texas-based FBS programs that are in the G6. Rice shakes out number 1 at 69. So we're basically saying, yes, a 69 out of all the FBS schools. That's not elite. That's not great. But when you're looking at these realignment-based candidates for the Pac-12, there's not a lot of football history here, folks. Let's be honest about it. So Rice, 69, Texas State, 74, Sam Houston, 81 over Texas State, which is 85, UTEP, 86, and UTSA, a relatively new football program brand at number 90 in the nation. Football history has a 15% weight in the model, and these are the values that go into it. Let's move on. Now, basketball history, the basketball score. You can see Rice shakes out number one at 0.43, 43%, that's saying. UTEP with 32%, North Texas with 30%, UTSA was 16%, Texas State at 16%, and Sam Houston at 5%. What the heck is a basketball score, Wild Ute, you're saying? What the heck is that? Well, if you watched the last video, and I recommend you do watch the last video. In fact, if you haven't, check out the comments, show notes, because we'll have a link to the Memphis to the Pac-12 video where I outlined exactly what goes into the basketball score. Folks, took all historical data, all-time wins, NCAA appearances, and AP rankings. Also, if there's any national championship or Final Four involvement, none of these 6 schools had that, and factored in a basketball rank based on that data. And Rice shakes out number one. While not an elite score, it's the best out of the 6 Texas-based schools we're looking at. So basketball history has a 15% weight in the model. Basketball matters. A basketball brand matters. Just ask the Pac-12 about Gonzaga. That's why Gonzaga is in the Pac-12 right now. Let's move on. Okay, here we go. A brand new one right here, folks. Social media brand. No one has attempted this before, so it's a brand new concept. And we're trying to get a feel for the actual brand quality for each one of these 6 schools, okay? So the approach was this. Taking all football and basketball, men's basketball, follower count from X, Facebook, and Instagram for each one of these schools, combining them all, adding them up together, and getting a total follower count for social media for UTSA, North Texas, Texas State, and so on. And this is how it shook out. UTSA has the biggest follower count on X, Facebook, and Instagram for football and men's basketball at 198,000 followers. North Texas shakes out number 2 with 172,000. Texas State with 160, Rice with 134, UTEP with 128, and the small Sam Houston State with 99,000 total followers. Why does this matter? Who cares, right? Why does social media matter? Because it gives an indication of the brand strength, y'all. Social media and the amount of people that are willing to follow you on social media gives you a feel. How big is the brand compared to other brands, compared to other schools? This is a metric, a way to take a look at how strong a brand is. Just one of many, but we're using it in this realignment model. So UTSA shakes out number 1. And also, let's take a look at the last component here. The estimated exit fees for each one of these schools. This is an interesting idea and concept, folks. So exit fees matter in realignment. They matter in Pac-12 realignment because the higher exit fee, the harder it is to freaking leave your conference, right? I'm making an assumption here that the Pac-12 is going to pay a portion of any exit fee for any school in Texas that jumps over to the Pac-12. That's going to happen. A portion of that exit fee, perhaps half, perhaps 25%. It doesn't matter. They're going to be paying a portion of it. And so the lower the exit fee, the more value there is for the Pac-12 to grab them over and everything. You don't have to pay as much out of pocket to bring the school over, and they don't have to pay as much either to pay out the exit fees. So in this concept here, Sam Houston State has a small $2 million exit fee based on recent data gleaned here from Conference USA. That's the Conference USA exit fee that a team recently paid. That was actually UTEP when it moved over to the Mountain West. $2 million, pretty low. It's an advantage. Texas State in the Sun Belt. A $5 million exit fee is the cost to get out of the Sun Belt. Rice, North Texas, UTSA, all in the American Conference. Pretty dang big buyouts, folks. Supposedly going to cost $27.5 million in exit fees for each one of those dang schools to leave the American to even consider jumping over to the Pac-12. That is a pretty penny. And lastly, UTEP, who recently made that move from Conference USA over to the Mountain West at 28.5. That's an estimate based on a lawsuit that's going on right now between Utah State, Boise State, and others with the Mountain West on how much they're claiming the exit fees are costing each one of the schools respectively. So that 28.5 for UTEP is actually the average level in a lawsuit recently that's come out, stuff that these schools are saying that the Mountain West is asking from a Utah State. So the assumption here is that UTEP's going to have to pay out $28.5 million if they leave the Mountain West for the Pac-12. Dang, that's expensive. That is expensive, folks. So let's take a look. When you combine all the data, you normalize the data, you put it into the matrix model, who is the best candidate for the Pac-12? Perhaps, you guys, perhaps even the Mountain West Conference. This is really who's the best FBS Texas-based candidate for realignment in the state. There we go. We've got an overall grade. We've got the layout per category discussed. And number one, UTSA shakes out number one with a 73% overall grade based on all the criteria looked at, examined, and normalized in the data set. Second, Rice. Rice comes out second. That is a bit shocking. I would have thought it would have been a school like North Texas or UTEP, Texas State perhaps. Third, UTEP, the 62% overall grade. Look at the far right-hand side of the screen. That's the overall grades. That's what you want to focus on. That's basically the realignment quality score here for the Texas schools that we're looking at. North Texas with a 51. So pretty big drop-off, actually, from UTEP to North Texas. And then you're right there. North Texas and Texas State are kind of in that same realm. Texas State with a 49% overall grade. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second. And Sam Houston State with the 46% overall grade based on the criteria we talked about when you normalize that data. All right. Texas State. Texas State is supposed to be one of the prime Pac-12 candidates to move over. But folks, the model says we're the fifth best team in Texas that are playing at the G6 level. UTSA is a much stronger candidate than Texas State based on what the model says. So is Rice, so is UTEP. Those three are clear favorites over Texas State, and largely because they've got more football viewership over the last 3 years. They have more football history, at least Rice does, and also in some cases, different exit fees, okay? So here's the idea. Texas State, while they are a good candidate, they bring a new footprint for the Pac-12, they're not the number one candidate. If the Pac-12 could get their hands on UTSA, Texas San Antonio, that would be ideal number one, with Rice being a second choice. So if the Pac-12 had their choice of any school, it'd be UTSA or Rice, and not necessarily Texas State. However, if Texas State is the only school available because the American buyout, the exit fees are so heavy and substantial, then really you're looking at they're the only option. According to my 5-point matrix, UTSA and Rice are the clear 1-2 choices for the Pac-12. They bring football firepower, basketball buzz, and social media sway to elevate the conference to new heights. Now, let's see if it's actually going to happen. What do you think? Are UTSA and Rice the best fit options for the Pac-12 in Texas? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, class is dismissed.